We're here at Tampa Bay Comic Con 2019. Let's see what trouble we can get into.
I can't work like this!
On the spot, go!
It's time for another On the Spot! On the Spot!
Do either of you two ever sit around practicing new voices just for fun, or do you need a character assigned to you first?
That's a good question. You know, sometimes I'll practice voices with my girls because we'll get goofy. I have 2 daughters. And I might just try like, hey, Austin, what's going on? Riley, what are you doing? And they're just like, Dad, stop. But sometimes we'll riff like on Fairly Odd Parents. You know, she would be doing Vicky and Darren Norris is doing Cosmo. And then we would just break into a riff and slip into different characters.
Yes. I have 3 children, so when I read bedtime stories to them, sometimes I'll come up with a good voice, you know, and I'm like thinking like, there's a lady who kind of talks like this, and she's a little bit nervous, and she was kind of scared of the dark in this book, and I thought that would be a good. I haven't used it yet, so if you hear it in the cartoon,
will be like, that's okay, honey, relax.
But it's just very dark.
Try to calm down,
I
honey.
don't think I can.
It's
get
only
through it.
an interview. Let's take your medicine.
See, there were 2 original characters.
Yay.
It's a show. It's called Morty and Mikey. And she's Morty and I'm Mikey. It's a new world.
Morticia.
From stand-up and cartoons to commercials and TV shows, you've both done it all. Are you able to watch or hear performances, though?
Oh, yes. I'm able to watch my performances only from a standpoint of I need to review it to learn what new lines I can write. And so in that sense, I can watch it. And then some shows I do, that was pretty good. And I surprised myself.
I never watch anything. I still haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I know it's my most popular role. But it's funny, for stand-up, I hate even listening to my jokes, but you have to kind of go over what you need to tighten up or what people laugh at and where they laugh, and if there needs to be it's almost like chemistry, like the timing of that. So I do it, but it's really begrudgingly. And I'm doing a new special now, and there's a joke that I think I left out of my first special, and I was like, that was a really good joke. I think I left it out, but I cannot bear to listen to the first special to see if I even left it out. But I'm going to set aside an afternoon and do it and just get through it. But it's cringeworthy to me.
Do you ever feel like you're missing out on something not watching your own shows or films?
I feel like ignorance is bliss.
You always do, yeah. Ignorance is bliss, but then I've sort of like fans will come up and remind you, remember that episode? I'm like, oh, I never saw that. You're right, that is good. Because sometimes you'll go back and watch an old Rocco, or for me, or I'll watch a clip of Reno 911 and go, I remember that. That was good. Or I always remember fondly our Fairly Odd Parents sessions. An episode will remind me of that, of Gray and Butch directing us, and Suzanne Blakesley and Darren Norris and Tara Strong and Jeff Bennett would come in, and Dee Bradley Baker, and it would just be amazing. And so it gives you fond memories, if nothing else.
I've read your voice work has been discovered through your comedy. Did you ever think you would lead down this path? Was voiceover work something you really thought of back then?
Well, he is like a big stand-up guy, and I started doing stand-up and then went into voiceover because that's kind of how I got discovered in voiceovers, was doing some impressions in my terrible stand-up routine. The lady's like, you do great voices, but you need to write jokes. So I went and did that for 20 years. Carlos was on the road and doing stand-up and everything and got it. Did you get into it?
I fell into it. I was doing stand-up in San Francisco. I started in Sacramento, and there was this opportunity for this project by Joe Murray called Rocco's Modern Life. I didn't have an agent. An old push-play recorder in a kitchen, just speaking into the machine. I did this thing. I went and auditioned.
I had the right voice at the right time.
I always thought stand-up, they'll see me as a stand-up, I'll become an actor and I'll be on TV. I never thought I would go into voiceover. And then when Rocco was made, they were looking for somebody to play Heifer, and I said, I know this guy Tom Kenny, he's really amazing. And Tom Kenny owes me 5% of all of his earnings.
Of all your cartoon characters, who has been your personal favorite to voice?
My favorite is Rocco because he's my first, and he's so sweet.
And he's just timeless. And, I've gotten to do Crocker, Timmy Turner, super crazy, and that's all fast-paced, but when it boils down to it, you always love your first cartoon. So for me, it's Rocco.
Well, I loved being Azula on Avatar: The Last Airbender because she was very, very evil, but she didn't have to yell or anything. She was very calmly, just creepily evil. Yes, it didn't blow my pipes out.
Which would you say is the most like you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Sometimes when I lose my keys, Mr. Crocker, where are my keys?
And then the other, calm down, you'll find them soon.
So I'm probably 50-50 Rocco and Mr. Cracker.
The one that's most like me is Frankie from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, because I was raised by my grandmother in, kind of a kooky house full of all, fun relatives and stuff, and and that's how Frankie lives with her grandma in a house full of imaginary friends. And also Frankie sounds a lot like the closest to me than anyone does. Like, Blue, you're driving me crazy, but it's like just pretty much my voice, only a little bit heightened.
Is having a character on an educational show like Wow Wow Wubsy, where kids for generations will be learning from your voices, something you hope you could at least do once in your career? Is there something special about that as a voice actor when you think about shows like Schoolhouse Rock, Barney, or The Magic School Bus?
Yeah, doing Wubsy was great, and Gray was phenomenal at that. And yeah, when you think about it, when you're helping to develop a kid and you get to be innocent, because we're jaded, we're older, and some of our shows are more adult, so when you get to pull it back and go, oh, my, Wubsy, what's going on with this kickity-kickball? It won't inflate.
Wow, why won't it inflate? All I want to do is play kickity-kickball.
I know, I've discovered a leak, and you were using helium, which is why the ball was floating. You should use H2O. I want to play kickity-kickball. And so
Ooh, me too.
Kooky.
That's kooky.
Yeah, those are fun. I have a new show coming out called Dragons Rescue Riders, and it's for kids that are preschool age and almost maybe to second grade, and that's fun because your characters can be more innocent, and the kids are developing with you, and that's a cool thing.
I played Emily Elizabeth on Clifford the Big Red Dog, who sounds a lot like Wubsy, but we won't talk about that. But anyway, yeah, and at the time it was like a buyout. They pay you one fee, and they can use it forever. And at first I was like, oh man, I'm never going to make any residuals, and they're just going to play it forever. But it's kind of cool because every generation, there's still little kids that are watching Clifford the Big Red Dog, and because they've been playing it for 20 years. I was 26, I think, and I'm going to be 46 this month. So it's crazy that kids are still watching that show, and
I still watch it.
So catching young, wonderful people like you, so that makes me happy.
With all the retro TV shows coming back, do you think Rocko's Modern Life should come back regularly too?
Well, as you know, August 9 on Netflix,
Static Cling comes back to the airwaves, and
it's always your hope that a special would be really well received, and they'd say, let's make a series, and call us, would you like to make a series? Boy, would we.
yeah, I always think Rocco should come back.
Because those classic 90s cartoons, Invader Zim, Rocco, Angry Beavers, Ren and Stimpy, they belong in a place where they're more widely viewed now. So let's cross our fingers that it does come back.
I'll be ready.
And Fairly Odd
whatever
Parents,
comes back. I want to come back for it. Whatever. Rugrats is coming back, and I played Reptar in Rugrats, so hopefully that will happen.
Lastly, Carlos, I've recently read about the history between you and Tom Kenny. Would it be fair to say that the world may have not had SpongeBob SquarePants? We've all known and come to love if it weren't for you.
Absolutely. As I've said it before, Tom was nowhere, a failure in his career as a musician, as a stand-up comedian,
As a person,
He was nowhere, dwindling, just evaporating away, until I said, I feel sorry for this Tom Kenny chap. Why don't you try him out as Heifer? The rest is SpongeBob history. I'll be dining at the yacht club tonight, my friends. You owe it all to me, Tom Kenny. You know you do. You know you do!
Crocker, leave him alone.
Well, that's it for Tampa Bay Comic-Con. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And everyone was really nice to me. Thank you to Gray and Carlos and everybody else. It was just so amazing meeting you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, like, and share. Bye!